G'day there guys, Connor here again from Marky Industries, and we're back once again with some more stories from Reddit. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Anyway, hit like and subscribe and all that stuff, and let's get straight to the stories. Okie dokie, we're on relationship advice. This one was written by a throwaway account, and it's titled, I adopted my little sister after our parents passed away. Girlfriend isn't so excited about it. English isn't my native language, so please excuse me if I make mistakes. Last month, when my parents were driving back from my uncle's house outside the city, they encountered a moose on a remote road in the forest. My father, who was the driver, swerved at a high speed and hit into a tree. They both died on the scene. Because it wasn't a very often used road, they were only discovered the next day by a passerby. My sister has been staying with my grandmother, who I'm not a great fan of. She would hit me when I was a kid, most of the time deservedly so, but also a lot of time unjustified. She said that she doesn't want to adopt my sister, so the next option was me. I agreed to it without question. We are very close, and in the end, she's my family, and I love her to the end of the world. My sister, who is 8 years old, moved in with me, 24, and my girlfriend, 23, and 2 weeks ago. Obviously, she's very scarred from what happened to our parents. We were both very close to them and they were great people. She still doesn't really talk much, only to me and sometimes my girlfriend. We take her to therapy twice a week, and there are improvements, even in such a short amount of time. Yesterday, after I stayed with my sister in her bed until she fell asleep, I went to my girlfriend's room. She said that we have to have a talk about the situation. She said that we haven't really had time for each other since my sister moved in. It's a fair point. We've only had sex once, and that was when my sister was away, and even then I wasn't really into it at all. She said I should reconsider the adoption and maybe hand her over to my uncle and aunt. I refused. They're already busy as it is. My uncle isn't allowed to work because of a heart condition, and because he didn't work long before being diagnosed, his disability fund isn't very big. My aunt works at a retirement home, and that obviously doesn't pay great. They also pay for my cousin's university expenses while juggling taking care of my younger cousin who's only 5. My girlfriend is in her last year of university, so we don't have much money either. I luckily found a job after university in my field that pays pretty good, but it's been tough financially, though soon enough I'll start receiving funds from the government for adopting my sister. My girlfriend said that she isn't ready to become a mother, and overall having all of these responsibilities of a parent, which I can't understand. It's tough, and she said that it's been putting a strain on our relationship, which again is valid. Before, we'd get back from work and university and be off for the day, but now we have to pick my sister up from school, drive her to the therapist, and also take care of her a lot when she's home. She doesn't like to be alone. I told her that while she makes valid points, all of that goes out the window when this is my sister. I can't just throw her away, because it's not easy, it won't be easy, and that I have to ride it out, but that she doesn't. It probably wasn't the right thing to say because it set her off, and she said that if I had to choose between my sister and her, who would I pick? I didn't answer, and we got into a bit of a verbal fight, after which I went to sleep on the couch, and I kind of broke down from everything that's been going on lately. I should like to add that my girlfriend and I have been together for 9 years. She knew my parents, and they loved her. She also knows my sister from birth, and I just can't understand how she would make me pick between them. I love both of them, and I don't want to lose either of them. I think I need advice on what to do or say to my girlfriend, because I'm at a loss. Oh man, I have no hesitation in just admitting that this is way out of my pay grade. I feel like after 9 years in a relationship though, there'd be some compromise willing to happen here. But ultimately, I feel like the ball's in her court. She either stays and sticks fat, or she goes. Let's go to the comments. What a wonderfully brave and noble thing you've done by adopting your younger sister. I'm certain your parents are so proud of you. Please don't consider sending your sister off. She's already gone through so much. You made the decision to do this. Your girlfriend has the right to leave the relationship. She does not, however, have the right to make you feel bad about the decision you've made. I wish you well. Opie says, don't worry about that, it's never even been an option in my head. While I love my girlfriend a lot, she was my first everything, but if push comes to shove, and she does make me pick, I already know who I'll choose, and unfortunately it's not going to be my girlfriend. What I do want to do is try my best to make this work with her and hope we can see eye to eye, but I suppose that's on her. Pick your sister. Your sister has no choice in this. Your girlfriend has a choice to stay or leave. Opie replies, "Oh, I already know that if she does make me choose that I'm sticking with my sister. I guess I just want some advice to maybe prevent splitting off from my girlfriend so I don't have to pick, that we could see eye to eye, but from what people have been saying, that's likely not going to be possible." And to a deleted comment, Opie says, "I'm not dictating she sent her money on my sister because my girlfriend doesn't earn any money. She's still in uni, which just proves you skimmed through my post. Also, if you read other replies, you'll see I did discuss it with my girlfriend, and she was all for taking my sister. I'm not forcing anyone to do anything. My girlfriend doesn't really interact with my sister either. Her life is mostly unchanged, apart from the fact we can't really spend as much time together. Also, the argument about knowing my girlfriend longer than my sister has been alive is irrelevant. My sister is my sister, and adding to that, she and myself lost both of our parents. You're not into sex because your parents died recently. She's being selfish and not supportive about their death. Even if the sister issue is real for her, she should have at least waited for you to mourn first. You ever heard that saying, a madman sees what he sees? The girlfriend has a partner that just lost his parents, an orphaned 80-year-old in his care, but all she sees is how their loss and grief is inconveniencing her. The problem Opie has is that if she is incapable of showing compassion and empathy for such a huge life event, there's no way she'll show any empathy for anything else. I can't believe how far I had to scroll for this comment. It is totally acceptable for the girlfriend to not want this kind of responsibility. That is her right and her choice. But sheesh, the man you love, who you've been with for almost a decade, lost both of his parents a few weeks ago. Two people that loved you also. Not only is he dealing with this massive loss, which probably still hasn't completely hit him yet, he is also trying to care for a much younger sister physically and emotionally. Curious, OP, did you have any discussion with your girlfriend before you decided to take your sister into your home? And also, is your girlfriend typically not empathetic? OP replies, "Yes, we did have a discussion. I forgot to include it because I was really tired, but yeah, we did discuss it, and my girlfriend was all for taking my sister. I think it might have been the matter of reality striking her in the face when my sister moved in, and I don't think she's had any troubles with being empathetic. Over the years, not that many bad things have happened really, but if I was feeling burned out from uni and all, she would be the first to comfort me and make me feel better, so it came off as a huge surprise to me. And in terms of my parents being gone, you're completely right. I haven't even had time to accept it. I had to arrange the funeral with some help from my aunt and uncle, then having to mess around with the bureaucracy of adopting my sister, being scared that she might be put into adoption if the government somehow determines I'm unfit to take care of her. Then lately, just the whole mess of more paperwork regarding changing my sister's school, dealing with lawyers about my parents' will, dealing with trying to get child benefits while going to work, getting home, making some food for all of us, taking care of my sister, trying to help her with homework, help her with grieving and spending time with my girlfriend. Virtually, I haven't even had time to think. And the only time I could was 2 nights ago when I went to sleep on the couch, and it all kind of hit me and I just broke down. Hell, even last week when I got home from work and I didn't want to cook, I tried calling my mother to ask if we could come in for dinner. Then I only realized that they're not there anymore. You are a great brother and your sister is very lucky to have you. I agree with people saying that your sister is forever, and you seem to be a great person, in which your sister will have a best buddy in the future. Your girlfriend is of course in a hard position, as she is 23, and taking care of a child is a great responsibility, mentally, financially, whatever, and you know, people are not prepared for such a commitment at this age, in my opinion. It makes me think, couldn't you and your girlfriend live separately for some time? It would make her feel not like a mother so much, and she could find some fun roommates and enjoy her last year, and help you with your sister whenever it's possible and suitable for her. I feel like breaking up on the spot with your longtime spouse over such a tragic situation as the death of your parents is, will not benefit anybody. Is there a possibility for such an arrangement? Opie replies, I don't think it's really possible for us to split like that. My girlfriend hasn't been on the greatest terms with her parents in over 10 years, even since before we were together, and the fact that they moved to another country and my girlfriend hasn't even spoken a word to them since going to uni doesn't really help that case. She would stay over at my house a lot when we were teens because of constant fights between her and her parents. Roommates, on the other hand, could be a good option to look into, if we don't manage to solve this in a better way. Maybe you can assure your girlfriend that your sister is your responsibility, not hers. So if you don't want to choose, you have to try to give her less responsibilities. Of course, if she wants to stay with you, her life will change, but you have to explain to her that your sister is your family, and you can't and don't want to leave her. You also have to explain to your girlfriend that she is not becoming a mother, just a big sister. He replies, I haven't even pushed any responsibilities on her because I know she's very busy with university. I'm back from work sooner than she is from university, and thank God sooner than my sister finishes school, so I usually cook some food for us all, and then pick up my sister and try to balance between the two of them. And admittedly, I've been spending more time with my sister, but I think that's understandable given how it's impacted her. I asked my girlfriend nothing, apart from at least trying to connect with my sister. Can you try to have a calm discussion with your girlfriend and communicate the points you've mentioned here, and maybe a few other things? Specifically, I'd go with something like, your aunt and uncle are already stretched with their current situation and you don't believe they'll be able to look after your sister as well as you can. You want to try to ensure that your sister is as well cared for as possible, and you believe that will be with you. Letting your sister down when she genuinely needs you is not an option. Your girlfriend can look at the current changes selfishly, or she can hopefully see that your actions show that you'll be there for anyone who is important to you, especially during tough times. Would your girlfriend want to be with someone who wouldn't do that? You know that the change will be difficult to begin with, but it will get easier over time. It doesn't change anything with how you feel about your girlfriend, and you're hoping that the two of you will support each other through it, rather than fighting each other. What would your girlfriend do if her closest family member needed help in a really bad time? Presumably she would help, and she would want you to be supportive. If so, she should be able to understand your point of view, and you're hoping that she will act like she would want you to act if the situation were reversed. If that doesn't work, then I would start to prepare for the worst. I hope it works out for you though. Like others have said, adopting your sister is absolutely the right thing to do, and you should definitely do it, no matter what. Even if it means your girlfriend threatens to leave, especially if she threatens to leave in fact. Good luck. Opie replies, I'm going to use all the advice I got in this thread to try and work it out with her after we put my sister to sleep tonight. I don't believe my girlfriend is a bad person, but I think this is just a reaction, as much as pulling a hand away from a hot stove would be. It's just not physical, but mental on this occasion, and I really want to do my best to keep my girlfriend, but I just cannot sacrifice my relationship with my sister. She's only 8 and going through things no child should. Okay, I'm going to come at this in another way than many other posters. Someone I know adopted a child. She had wanted children for 10 years, but a month after the child came home, my friend phoned me and said she wanted to cancel the adoption. The little girl had attached to her husband, not her. Didn't talk much, and their whole lives had suddenly changed. She didn't get to ease herself into being a parent through the baby years. Suddenly, she was second place in her relationship. Everything had become about her daughter, and she didn't know where she fit into this new dynamic. She felt like an outsider. She totally panicked, but she learned from her therapist that this is very common. Things were hard for 6 months, but now she and her daughter are very close. Not exactly the same situation, of course, but parts of it may be relevant. Even having your own child can be like throwing a grenade into a healthy relationship, and here you also have to add in a grieving child and traumatized boyfriend. Of course, she comes across as callous and selfish, but you know her better than we do. The sex thing flagged up to me the outsider feeling and why she wants to put everything back into the box and go back to how it was. She was open to the situation initially, but I suspect the reality is hitting home now given the time frame. Add to all of this the fact that you said she's under extreme stress with uni, and also that her own relationship with her family is awful. She may have different ideas of attachment or passing people on than you do because her parents weren't the loving ones you had. Not an excuse, but you've been with her for 9 years. You mentioned going through hard times, and I sense this ultimatum has thrown you because it's out of character. I'm guessing you posted here because you don't want to immediately go to the nuclear option. The most sensible suggestion here is sitting down and saying to your girlfriend that, while you love her, your sister is non-negotiable, so you might want to try to find a way to work through this if she accepts that. She needs to start with a counsellor. You also need space to grieve and comfort your sister a little bit too. Of course, she could just be selfish and awful, but there's so much going on here, and you're both very young. So as an almost 40-year-old, her reaction comes across badly, but I was also selfish and a bit dramatic at 24 if we're being honest here. Your sister has to come first, of course, though. Lastly, you are trying to sort everyone else around you. Please make sure you somehow find time to process your own feelings. You can't pour from an empty cup. Opie replies, "Hey, thanks a lot for this contentful response, if that's a word. What I'm trying to say is a long answer with a lot of very useful advice and information. Especially the first paragraph, it put things into perspective from her point of view to me. And regarding her coming off as selfish and all, while it's true that what she said did come off like that, after reading posts here, I believe it could just be a reaction, as much as pulling a hand away from a hot stove would be, just mentally in this case. I'm not saying that's for definite, but she could just be that type of person. But after being in a relationship with her for 9 years, and before that, having her as my best friend since we were 10, I just don't think that's the case here, and I can totally understand people telling me to leave her. At first, when she said if I was to choose between her and my sister, I damn near told her to proverbially kick rocks. I'm happy I didn't though, and I want to try to resolve this as adults should." Quote, "I'm guessing you posted here because you don't want to go immediately to the nuclear option." And yeah, that's exactly right. I love both of them the same, and although what she said hurt me, it doesn't make me love her any less and leaving her before at least trying to work this out, because I believe we can. I'm just overall not great with words and not a great judge of situations, so I wanted to get other people's input on this. Quote, "Lastly, you're trying to sort everyone else around you out. Please make sure you somehow find time to process your own feelings. You can't pour from an empty cup." Starting this thread and reading the replies really made me realize that I really should do this. It's just really hard with everything I'm dealing with right now, and unfortunately closing myself off for a bit and going through this isn't possible. Not yet. I really wanted to try to go to a therapist for at least a few visits with my girlfriend if possible, but even disregarding finances, I don't really have the time for it. Thank you for your advice. I'm definitely going to take it to heart when I discuss this whole thing with my girlfriend tonight after I put my sister to sleep. Opie makes a couple edits and an update. I also want to add, because people seem to think that I just suddenly took my sister without even talking to my girlfriend, that's not the case. We talked about it at length, and she said that we need to get her to come home to us, no matter what. That's why I was also really surprised as to what she had to say. Edit 2, I want to thank everyone for the great advice too, and for everybody's condolences. Even though we're all strangers here, seeing words of encouragement is great and actually impactful and helpful. Thank you. Update, I'm taking my sister to therapy in a bit. After I get back home, my girlfriend and I will talk about all of this. Update 2. Okay, so we ended up talking about it for a while, and this is how it went down. At first, my girlfriend apologized profusely for the other night. She said she acted like a spoiled little crap, and that it wasn't acceptable at all. I told her that I still love her the same, even though what she said was hurtful, and that I understand it's a huge jump for her, and explained to her that she doesn't need to be a mother, just a friend or big sister to my sister, and that I don't want to push any responsibilities on her, and said that if she'd like to, we could both take a break from each other to process this. She refused and said she processed it, and admitted that what she said was a result of everything changing so quickly, but she doesn't want or need a break because she realized she was in the wrong. She said that she regretted what she said almost immediately, but thought that the damage was done, and that I'll break up with her, and she was scared to approach me because of that. Next, she told me that she didn't mean to make me pick between them, and said herself that if someone posed her that question, if she was in that situation, she would drop them, and was thankful for me withholding that decision until we had a talk about it. She said it arose from her feeling distance from me, and jealousy that I was spending a lot of time with my sister, but had to spend less with her as a result. She understands why though. It's necessary I take care of my sister while she's hurting, and she said she wishes to help me with that as much as she can, and that she would like to help me get through this as well. She admitted that for the past 13 years, I've been everything to her, and that for those 2 weeks she thought she's losing me, and it terrified her. But after talking about it with some of her close friends, she saw that she wasn't losing me, just that a very important thing popped up in my life that had to be taken care of, and it was going to take a lot of my attention, which was previously focused mostly on her. She said that she wants me to know I can depend on her in terms of responsibility about my sister, and that she'll do her best to be good to my sister. And I can see that, compared to yesterday or the day before. My girlfriend really tried with my sister today, initiated conversations with her, and helped her out with homework and picking out some clothes before going to the therapist today. It was as if seeing my girlfriend go from being a child to an adult in a matter of a day. I also admitted some of my faults, such as neglecting her over the past few weeks. Although unintentionally, I realize it can have an impact on a person, and also not really giving her that much of a say on the matter whether my sister will come here to stay. We came up with a few things, namely that we must definitely go to therapy sooner than later. She suggested leaving my sister with my aunt and uncle for a few hours over the weekend while we go and sort that out, and also that we need to be able to balance our time more efficiently, so we can have at least a bit more time to reconnect with each other. Then she told me that she's sorry for not helping me grieve or finding time to do that, and that our fight was a wake-up call for her not being supportive enough of me through what happened recently, and that she'll do whatever she can to make up for her oversteppings recently. It was at this point that the whole entire month hit, like a train. I cried a lot while she was hugging me and giving me words of reassurance and comfort through the whole thing, while allowing me to realize what I've been holding on to this past month. This was my girlfriend as I knew her, a very caring person, and I really hope that what she showed 2 days ago wasn't her real face as people are saying, but merely a reaction stemming from insecurity, but I guess only time can tell that. I think it was a positive thing to do, and obviously there's still tons more where that came from, but it's a step in the right direction. When I came back home with my sister, we all played cards, and I just felt like we were a family. It's a good feeling. As of the time that I'm writing this, I put my sister to sleep, and today she didn't take much time to fall asleep at all. She pretty much drifted off after a forehead kiss and some cuddling. I'm in the living room on the couch right now. My girlfriend is taking a shower and we're planning to watch a movie together. And honestly, I'm thankful to everyone who gave me advice over the past few hours. I don't think I could have kept a level head so much if so many people hadn't offered different points of view and sound advice. One thing I learned from this ordeal is that communication, especially in times of stress like this, is vital, and that before making important decisions, it's good to talk to your partner and see if they maybe have an explanation for what they did, but also being ready for the worst. I went into the conversation with my girlfriend being ready to break up if her view hadn't changed, because like it or not, for the time being, my sister is a priority, and I think that 2 days ago my girlfriend didn't understand why and couldn't accept it. But after talking to her and explaining why I have to take care of my sister like this, she now understands and accepts it. Once again, thanks to everyone who offered advice, and while this is a great community, I hope I'm never in a position difficult like this where I have to ask for advice, although who knows what will happen. Okie dokie, and now for another update. Hey people, it's been a while since my original post, and I have some free time today and not much to do with it, so I'm gonna write this, why not? A lot happened since my first post. In the end, my girlfriend, now ex I guess, couldn't deal with the fact that I had a new priority. I admit that I wasn't the best at managing time between them two, and I would spend a lot more time with my sister than my girlfriend, but I think that's understandable, maybe. In general, my girlfriend was on and off with my sister. One day she would be the nicest person to her, and the other would completely blow her off and be borderline mean. I had a few talks with her that it needs to stop, but it would only end up working for maybe the rest of the week, and the next it would be back to square one. About 3 weeks ago, it erupted into a big argument. She accused me of not loving her anymore, and that I play favourites. I told her they're not my children to be playing favourites, and that obviously for some time my sister is going to need a lot more attention, since, she lost her parents. In the end, she went back to her ultimatum, sister or her. I was angry at this point because she'd been mean to my sister that day, and I told her she can pack her crap and find a place to sleep tonight. I haven't seen her since, and quite frankly, I don't really want to. We texted for a bit, Basically, both sides confirming it's over and arranging when she can come for the rest of her stuff. As for my sister, she's a lot better. She doesn't stay in her room all day anymore, and she's slowly going back to her talkative old self. She still doesn't like being alone, but it was the same before the accident, so since my girlfriend moved out, we've been sharing a bed for comfort. She still wakes up at night crying sometimes, so it's better when I'm there, and frankly it's a lot more comfortable. One thing I really regret is my sister heard that whole fight, and she started apologizing to me for breaking me and my girlfriend up. I assured her it's not her fault at all, and if anything, she helped me see my girlfriend for who she really was. She still goes to her therapist, and it's really helped a ton. She doesn't need me to be there while she falls asleep, and doesn't panic when I go to the shop for 15 minutes. All in all, these past 3 months have been the hardest time in my life, but eye-opening to my ex's disregard for my family, and kind of me too. Sorry for no happy ending. I guess this is how real life is. Edit 2. I would love to thank everybody for kind words individually, but with this amount it's crazy, so I want to give everyone who gave me advice and kind words a huge thank you to everybody. You're all amazing. These numbers are overwhelming, and I can't even express in words how it feels that so many people care. It's really something else. Didn't expect that strangers on the internet could make me cry either, so once again, a huge thank you. And some final comments. I remember this from 2 months ago, and I gave you the following advice. Pick your sister. Your sister has no choice in this. Your girlfriend has a choice to stay or leave. You agreed with me at the time, and I'm glad that you adopted your sister. As you can see, your now ex-girlfriend showed her true colors and left. I'm glad that your sister is doing better. Make sure that your sister understands that it's your ex's fault, not hers. A girlfriend is easily replaceable. I wish you and your sister the best. Opie says, yeah, I remember everyone telling me to dump her, and honestly I would have probably been doing myself a favor there, but I was blind. Thank you so much for being the kind of man this world needs, especially in such a tough position. Have you thought about joining a group for newly single parents, or a grieving support group? I think it would be good for you to be around people who appreciate what you're doing and empathetic of the struggle. He replies, that's a really good idea, and I haven't even thought of it even. The thing is, my free time is really limited. After work, I have to be at home with my sis, and by the time the weekend comes around, I'm honestly drained from work and pretty much constantly stressing over stuff, so I try to regenerate as much as I can before work again on Monday. I'll check around if there's anything like that in my area on a weekend maybe. I could spare an hour or two. Thanks for the advice. You did the right thing, and you're a great brother to your sister. I do want to mention that sleeping in the same bed is not a healthy coping mechanism at her age, and shouldn't go on very long if you want the best for your sister. It's totally understandable that she wants comfort, but if you could find a better way, that's probably best. Opie says, the sleeping on the same bed thing isn't for coping, I think, more for comfort. My bed is a lot more comfortable than the one in the spare room, and as my sister puts it, I'm a warm, life-sized teddy bear. May I suggest something apart from your situation? I'm very glad you put your sister first. She's very vulnerable right now. Enroll your sister in martial arts. It will help her confidence immensely and help her overcome that fear she feels at night. And bless you for stepping in. Take care of each other. He replies, actually I think that's a good idea. I trained Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for a few years and it really is a confidence booster. I'll have a talk with her if she'd like that, or maybe a different martial art and maybe we can make it happen. Thanks for the idea. Hey, absolutely incredible what you're doing. I have an enormous amount of respect for you. Maybe we could do a small fundraiser to help make things a little easier. Do you think that would help? Opie says, luckily I'm okay money-wise, and with my girlfriend out of the picture, means I'll have even more, ha. Thanks for the offer though. It warms my heart to see a lot of people willing to help so much. Yeah, contrary to popular opinion, the internet can be a good place sometimes. And yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not exactly surprised that the girlfriend left. Good riddance anyway. She didn't have their best interests at heart, that's for sure. Sometimes that's just life. Anyway guys, what are your thoughts about that story? Let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, we're going to leave that one there and move on to another one. Okay, over on Am I the A-hole, this one was written by user Livid Charlotte, and it's titled, Am I the a-hole for being very angry with my younger brother for what he said about my girlfriend? I, male 22, have been dating my girlfriend, 21, for 4 years, and I love her about as much as it's possible to love anyone. I honestly melt inside at just the thought of her. My girlfriend speaks with a stutter, which I know she's self-conscious about. Yesterday, I was chilling at home with my girlfriend. I live at home, but she'd come to visit. And at the same time, my brother, who is 16, had some friends over, and they were playing video games in his room. I also have a sister who is 18. My girlfriend went to the bathroom, and when she came back, she was crying. When I asked her why she was crying, she told me that on her way back from the bathroom, she was walking past my brother's room, and she overheard him saying to his friends that I had the stupid girl who doesn't know how to speak with me, and that he doesn't know why I would be with a weird girl who can't talk properly. I am very angry about this, and after my girlfriend had gone home, I immediately told my parents about what my brother had said. My parents just said that my brother is just a kid, and they called my girlfriend too sensitive and claimed that it wasn't a big deal. I absolutely lost my temper with my parents, as well as my brother, who I called a nasty, disrespectful pig. I then went to my girlfriend's house and stayed with her and her cats because I was so angry with my parents. My parents have been texting me saying I'm overreacting and continuing to say my brother is just a kid. Yeah, I mean, they're not wrong about that. He's only 18. But yeah, at the same time, I feel like OP is justified for being a bit frustrated his parents didn't take it too seriously. Let's go to the comments. Your brother is a kid, and childhood years are for making mistakes and learning consequences. I'm sorry your parents reacted the way they did, because it sounds like they make excuses for him and not preparing him for adulthood. I doubt you'll change them, so do what you think is right. It sounds like for now, the consequence for your brother is an altered relationship with you. I would express to your parents that 16 is closer to adult than child, and you're very disappointed at your brother, but more so their reaction. Also, I don't mean to stir the pot, but is it possible your parents brushed it off because he's echoing the stuff they say? By the way, mum of 22 and 18-year-old, so semi-expert, not the a-hole. Opie says, if my parents have been talking about her like that, then I'm moving out permanently. Oh, that's nice. Your parents enabling their asshole 16-year-old son to be a nasty piece of work. You're right to be ticked with him and them. They should be knocking that on the head. He's old enough to know better. You're not the a-hole here, but your family, minus sis, are, and should be ashamed of themselves. Opie says, my sister honestly looked like she was ashamed at our parents and brother. Sorry, the brother's 16, not 18. I think I said 18 before. Another comment says, one thing to keep in mind here is that she overheard him talking to his friends and did not say this to her face. Although the parents blowing it off is suspect, how do they feel about your girlfriend's stutter? Have they made comments about her behind your back that the brother may have overheard, and that's why they're hesitant about confronting him? I feel bad for your girlfriend. Having a stutter is hard enough to deal with and to be self-conscious of, let alone having someone close to you mocking her. Opie replies, it's very odd because my dad has always been nice to her, and my mum has actually been very affectionate towards her, so for them to disregard her feelings seems very two-faced. If my parents had been saying mean things about her, I'm definitely moving out. A very rude kid that makes fun of people for something they can't help. This rude kid will turn into an adult a-hole with parents like that. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, on to an update 9 days later. Thank you for all of your comments on my original post. When I had calmed down, I took some of the advice I'd received in the comments, and I approached my brother to talk to him calmly about what he said, and my girlfriend decided to come with me. Anyway, my brother did apologize to both of us. We asked him to explain honestly why he said it. My brother admitted that he was trying to look cool in front of his friends. My brother also told us that these same friends had been teasing him for not having a girlfriend after the girl he asked out rejected him. I asked if he was jealous of me because I have a girlfriend, and he admitted that he was jealous, especially after he got teased after being rejected. Anyway, me and my girlfriend discussed the situation with my brother, and we explained to him that these boys are clearly not true friends, judging by the way they're acting. We further explained to him that he shouldn't feel like he has to act cool to impress people, and we also reminded him that saying mean things about someone is definitely not cool. We advised my brother to stick up for himself and to not hang out with these people who tease him, and that he should report them if it gets worse. My brother did apologize to me and my girlfriend. Some people in the comments suggested he might have heard my parents commenting on the way my girlfriend speaks. However, my brother insisted that this is not the case. I don't know whether to believe him about that or not. After the chat we had with my brother, I told my parents about how disappointed I was with them and about how me and my girlfriend had just done what they should have. I'm extremely disappointed in my parents, as I really trusted them to be better than this, and unfortunately things have not changed with them. My parents were angry with us for talking to my brother about this, and they claimed we were both overreacting. I made it clear to my parents that actually they are underreacting. I told my parents that they should be thanking us for doing the job that they can't be bothered to do. Unfortunately, my sister has been having some trouble with my parents because she tried to talk to them about this situation. Because of the way that my parents are acting, I'm going to move in with my girlfriend and her cats permanently. Tomorrow, I'm taking my girlfriend on a surprise vacation for Valentine's Day, as I know my girl loves a nice surprise. In a couple of weeks, when we get back from the vacation, I will move in with her, and my sister is also moving in with us. Me and my girlfriend have both told my sister that when we move in together, she is welcome to come, as my girlfriend's place has a spare room, and my sister was very eager to accept the offer to get away from our parents. My girlfriend and my sister are very close, and honestly act like sisters themselves, so the three of us living in the same place will be great. My girlfriend also assured my brother that she forgives him, and he is still welcome to visit. One comment says, "Your parents are reacting that way because they're the ones who've been crap talking about your girlfriend when you're not around. Your brother denied it, but it's obvious." Opie says, "It does seem like it, unfortunately. If that is the case, I hope my brother will trust us enough to tell us that eventually." Make a point to stay involved and check in on your brother. He may feel left out with both of you moving and being left with the parents, and that can easily turn to resentment. Opie says, "Yeah, I'm definitely going to keep spending time with him." And does the rest of Opie's extended family know what happened? I do have aunts and uncles as well as cousins who have mostly supported me in this situation. Geez, who knew, even after the horrible comment the brother said, that the parents would become the villains of this story. Geez, they really sound like pretty putrid people. I mean, doubling down like that? What's their problem? Anyway guys, what are your thoughts about this one? Let me know down below. Either way, we're going to leave that story there and move on once again. Alright, we're going to Petty Revenge for a quick one. This one was written by user dadsmilk420 and it's titled, "Old guy at the state fair yelled at a little girl for standing in front of the butter sculpture, so I took revenge for her." This happened last summer. Like the title says, I was at the state fair looking at the butter sculpture. This old dude is standing next to me recording as it spins around, because the sculpture has two different sides to it. This little girl, maybe 3 if I had to guess, runs up to it and presses her face and hands against the glass, all excited. I laughed because I found it cute. I remember being young and that excited for silly things. But the old dude next to me immediately starts bitching. Specifically he said, "Jesus Christ, get out of the way." And keep in mind, this girl is not even tall enough to mess with his precious video. If anything, he should have been happy to catch a genuine state fair moment. But nope, apparently in his mind he deserves to get a completely uninterrupted video. The mum awkwardly apologized and pulled her daughter back. I was immediately frickin' livid though. As soon as it got to the point that the butter sculpture was turning to the side he hadn't recorded, I slowly walked in front of him and past his camera so that I blocked all the important stuff. As I was walking away, he goes, "You're a real a-hole, you know that?" And I shot back, "Dude, what does that make you? You yelled at a little girl because you need your video that bad." He huffed and puffed and goes, "Well, you're still an a-hole." I just laughed and kept walking away at that point. Made eye contact with the mum before I left though. She had a huge smile on her face, gave me a nod and mouthed, "Thank you." One of the most satisfying moments of my life, honestly. One comment says, "He acted like that for a butter statue. A butter statue. Why do we have to share the same planet as these people?" Opie says, "Right, like I'm pretty understanding. I get people can have bad days and be in a bad place and have a crappy reaction cause of that. But even on my worst days, I would never yell at a frickin' kid over a mound of butter." People who make kids feel bad for being kids are bad people. Cut and dried, plain as day. Opie says, "Yup, and especially in a situation like this. Thousands of people go there every day, dude. The state fair is not just for you. He should be happy he got a relatively clear shot of it, versus being mad because a 2-foot tall toddler got in the way. Yeah, the dude definitely sounds like a prick, that's for sure, and I bet he was there all by himself. Anyway guys, that's it from me today. Hope you guys enjoyed those stories. Thanks for making it to the end, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good day. Cheers.